Elon Musk scams are getting smarter and people are losing everything. Now, there's a new kind of scam spreading online right now. And what makes this one dangerous is the fact that it doesn't look like a scam. It doesn't always come in some badly made website. It doesn't always show up with terrible grammar. It doesn't arrive as an obviously fake message from a stranger.
No, honey. Yes, you're getting scammed. Block him, block him.
That's what I'm sure he's gonna do.
Sometimes it actually looks polished, it looks modern, and it looks like a real advert.
Get rich right now. Today we are launching an investment project that is working right now. If you see this video, absolutely everyone can earn it. Everything is very simple. You invest your money in Bitcoin. For TeslaTreeBot.net is our bot, after which everyone who invested their cryptocurrency will be able to receive exactly 30% of it.
And sometimes it also looks like a real opportunity, and more often this one looks like Elon Musk. Now basically you get his face, his smile, his voice, his companies, and his images. And guess what? All of these are actually being used to sell lies across social media platforms, especially on platforms like Facebook. Scammers have been using fake Elon Musk profiles, fake endorsements, giveaways, crypto opportunities, and even fake products to trick people into handing over their money. Now, some victims actually believed they were getting in on an early major investment. Some thought they had actually won a Tesla.
So my aunt started talking to somebody on social media who said that he was Elon Musk, okay, and that he needed her to send him $40. That if she sent him $40, that he would give her a Tesla.
Some thought they were actually buying breakthrough technology connected to one of the world's most famous entrepreneurs. Instead, they were being manipulated. Now, one victim actually lost about $300,000. Another was told that she actually won a white Tesla and $250,000 in cash, only to be drained through fake fees paid with Apple gift cards. Now, others were sold bogus products pushed with Elon Musk's image to make them actually appear legitimate. And the deeper you look into these scams, the more unsettling the picture becomes, because this isn't just one celebrity being impersonated. It's about the internet entering a new phase, a phase where trust can be faked, where familiarity can be weaponized, and where AI can help a scam look more believable than ever before. So today we are looking at how these Elon Musk scams work, why people fall for them, why they are getting harder to spot, and what this says about the future of fraud online. Because the real story here isn't just Elon Musk, it's the collapse of certainty on modern technology. Now let's start with the obvious question. Why Elon Musk? Now, if you're a scammer trying to trick a large number of people online, you need one thing more than anything else, which is attention. And with Elon Musk, attention comes instantly. This is what actually makes him so useful. He isn't just a billionaire, he's one of the most recognizable people on the internet. His name is actually tied to SpaceX, Tesla, AI, crypto, electric cars, future tech, and massive wealth. So whether people admire him, dislike him, or find him interesting, most people react when they see him, and the reaction there has value, because scammers don't just steal money, they actually borrow trust. They take credibility that already exists in people's mind and use it to put their victim closer to a decision they would make normally. So with Elon Musk, this one actually becomes much more easier. If a random unknown person tells you there's a once-in-a-lifetime investment opportunity, most people actually ignore it. But if that same idea appears next to Elon Musk's face or comes from an account that looks, or let's say belongs to him, suddenly this one actually feels a little bit different.
Hey everyone, Elon Musk here. I'm giving away 5 brand new Teslas to 5 lucky fans. If you're interested, just tap the plus sign to follow this page right now.
Now, not proven, not safe, just possible. And that's everything this scam actually needs. It does not actually need to be perfect. It just needs to survive the first few seconds of your attention. Because if it can do that, it can trigger the one thing scammers care about most, which is emotion, excitement, curiosity, urgency, greed, and should I say, hope. One of the most devastating stories tied to these scams involved a retiree who was reportedly pulled into a fake investment opportunity linked to Elon Musk. And like a lot of the scams, this one actually started on Facebook. Now, that one actually matters because Facebook is one of the most easiest places for this kind of fraud to spread. It's a platform where ads, pages, comments, private messages, and public trust all get mixed together. It's also a place where people are used to seeing plugin figures actually show up in their feed. So when a scam is packaged with enough polish, it doesn't always feel, out of place. In this case, the victim reportedly came across what looked like an Elon Musk backed crypto opportunity. It was framed like a chance to get in early on something major, something futuristic, should I say something financially life-changing, and that's actually the hook. These scams are often built around the fantasy of early access, the feeling that you found something before everyone else, that you're actually getting in while the rest of the world is sleeping on it. That idea is actually incredibly powerful because it taps into one of the most strongest emotions on the internet, which is the fear of missing out, especially when the opportunity appears to be connected to someone already associated with innovation and money. The victim in the case reportedly lost more than $300,000, not a few hundred, not a few thousand, more than $300,000. And that's not just money. That can be a retirement, that can be years of savings, that can be security, that can be somebody's future. And stories like that make one thing painfully clear. These scams are not just catching careless people in careless moments. They are carefully designed systems of persuasion, because the victims usually ain't asked for everything upfront. That would actually be too obvious. Instead, the scam actually unfolds in stages. First, there's the introduction. Let's say a believable ad, message, article, or an investment platform. Then there's the emotional setup. This one is actually exclusive. This one is cutting edge. This is the opportunity people would actually regret missing. Then comes trust building, a dashboard, a website, a testimonial, a fake video, even a fake celebrity endorsement, like a smooth process. Then comes the ask. Now you are being asked to make a small deposit, a starter amount around $10, $20, and they kind of double it back. Now a low risk entry point, and once the victim actually crosses that line, the psychology changes completely. Now they've invested not just financially but emotionally, and from there it becomes easier to ask for more, and it just keeps going on, more, then even more. By the time it becomes clear that the whole thing was fake, the whole money is actually gone. Now let's compare that with another story. On the surface, this one actually kind of sounds completely different, but underneath it runs on the exact same psychology. In this case, a woman in Florida was reportedly targeted by the fake Elon Musk profile on Facebook. According to the story, the account told her that she had won a white Tesla and $250,000 in cash. This one actually sounds outrageous, but from a distance it might sound too ridiculous to actually work. But scams never really care about what they sound from the outside. They're about how they feel in the moment. So imagine getting a message that appears to be from Elon Musk. Imagine the profile looks real enough. Imagine the conversation feels direct, exciting, and personal. Then imagine being told that if you just won a selected life-changing prize. That doesn't just give you information, it creates an emotional event. There's surprise, there's disbelief, there's excitement, then there's the desire to believe it might actually be true. The emotional chain is what actually matters, because once that happens, the scammer already has an opening. So in this case, the victim was reportedly told that she needed to pay fees to receive the Tesla and the cash, and those fees were supposed to be paid using Apple gift cards. That should be an immediate red flag. No legitimate price works that way, if you want to be honest. No serious company actually does that, and no billionaire is privately asking random people to send them gift card codes. But the scams do not arrive in a calm, logical moment. They arrive inside an emotional story the victim is already reacting to. By the time the request for money shows up, the victim is no longer evaluating it coldly, they're evaluating it inside the fantasy that they've already started building. The woman reportedly sent $200 at first, then more money was actually demanded from her. In total, she reportedly lost $800 before realizing it was all fake. And then again, what matters here is not just the amount, it's the structure. The scam starts with something huge. Let's say a Tesla, a massive cash prize, a dream scenario, then introduces you into a smaller obstacle, which is actually a fee, a delivery charge, a processing cost, something annoying, but kind of manageable. And that is actually, should I say, deliberate, because once somebody becomes emotionally attached to a huge reward, a smaller payment can start to feel, should I say, reasonable. And after the first payment is made, the victim becomes more and more vulnerable. Now they're trying to protect the decision they've already made. Now they are thinking, I've already come this far, and now they're not just chasing a reward anymore, they're actually tracing closure, and that is where the scam actually tightens. Gift cards keep showing up in scams for one simple reason: they work, not because they actually make sense, but because they are very, very useful to criminals. Gift cards are actually kind of fast, they are easy to ask for, they are difficult to trace, and once the code has been sent and redeemed, getting your money back is often almost impossible. Now, to the scammer, they function like a digital cash, and to the victim, especially somebody caught in a high emotional situation, they can be framed as just another step in the process, and that's how the lie gets packaged. Not as theft, but rather as a fee, as verification, as handling, as should I say insurance, and as processing. Sometimes this can be, temporary. Sometimes it can be routine. Scammers are very good at making absurd requests sound, procedural, and that matters. Fraud doesn't always comes dressed like chaos. Sometimes it comes dressed like administration, a form to fill out, a payment to make, a step to complete, should I say a code to send. That tune actually makes people let their guard down because procedure actually feels normal, instruction kind of feels normal, official sounding steps feel normal, and by the time the victim pauses long enough to ask why a Tesla giveaway needs Apple gift cards, the money may already be gone. So one of the earliest clues, or should I say one of the cleanest rules anyone can remember is this: if someone claims to have won something and they ask you to pay with gift cards, it's a scam. Not maybe, should I say not probably, it's actually a scam. But what makes Elon Musk scam ecosystem especially dangerous is how flexible it is. It's not just one scam, it's a whole category of scams built around the same identity. In addition to fake investment, fake giveaways, there have also been scams involving bogus product promoted with Elon Musk's images. This one might sound less dramatic than someone losing retirement savings, but the tactic is almost identical. In one example, scammers reportedly pushed fake energy saving products and so-called innovative devices using Elon Musk's name and likeness. The promise here wasn't instant wealth, it was smart technology, a clever product, a futuristic solution, and to be very honest, that matters because it targets a different kind of emotion. The fake Tesla giveaway actually plays on excitement and luck. The fake investment scam actually plays on ambition and financial hope. The fake product scam plays on curiosity and trust in innovation. And Elon Musk's image actually works across all three because people already associate him with next generation ideas, electric vehicles, space travel, AI, engineering, disruption. So if a strange new product actually appears online with his face attached to it, some people won't immediately think it's a scam. They would think maybe this is one of those unusual but interesting products tied to the kind of world he operates in, and that's the power of brand association. Now, one complaint reportedly involved the customer who lost money buying useless heaters and had no real refund packed. And even if the amount in stories like that is smaller, the larger pattern is exactly the same. Now, borrow trust, sell fiction, take money, then disappear. The internet actually makes this one easy. A fake ad can go live quickly. A fake landing page can look very polished. A fake review can be written in seconds, and a famous face can actually do the rest and all. And then there's the AI problem. For a long time, one of the quickest ways to spot a scam was quality. The site actually looked terrible, the message was kind of full of errors, the images were blurry, and the whole thing felt clumsy. Now that old model is breaking down because scammers have access to tools that let them create much more convincing materials. AI can help generate realistic images, it can write cleaner text, it can even mimic voices, and it can help create fake video clips. Now it can produce content that feels polished enough to lower suspicion, at least long enough to get the scam moving. And this one kind of changes everything because people have always used visual confidence as a shortcut to trust. If something feels professional or looks professional, many actually assume it has passed some kind of legitimacy test, but online that assumption is becoming more and more dangerous every year. A fake Elon Musk video doesn't need to be perfect, a fake voice clip doesn't need to fool experts, a fake testimonial doesn't need to survive deeper investigation. It just needs to feel real for a few seconds in a scrolling feed. That's enough to plant the idea, and once the idea is planted, the victim may just need to do the rest of the work themselves, especially if the scam already aligns with something they want to believe. This is what makes the modern scam so powerful. It's no longer just deception, is kind of synthetic believability. The scammer isn't just trying to lie to you, they are creating an environment where this one actually feels familiar. And that may be one of the biggest shifts happening on the internet right now. Now, a lot of these scams begin on Facebook, and that one is not just random. Social media platforms are almost perfect machines for this kind of fraud. They combine visibility, identity, emotion, reputation, and instant communication all in one place. They also train users to move fast. Now, basically, you scroll, you react, you glance, you trust visual clues, you assume things are real because they just look naive to the platform. The environment is actually ideal for impersonation. A fake page can look real enough, a fake ad can blend into your feed, a fake comment section can create the appearance of legitimacy, a fake profile can, seem believable if it has the right photo, the right name, and the right tune. And once the victim responds, the scam often moves into private messages. That shift is extremely important. Public posts are one thing, private chats are kind of another thing. Inside a private conversation, the scammer can adapt in real time. They can reassure, they can kind of like flatter, they can pressure, they can answer, doubts of the victim. They can keep the victim emotionally engaged. In the Tesla scam story, the conversation reportedly moved from Facebook to WhatsApp. That one is kind of a classic scam behavior. Move the target away from public scrutiny, move them into a channel where the interaction feels direct, make it kind of, feel personal, make it feel exclusive, make it feel like this is happening just for them. That feeling of exclusivity is very, very powerful. People are much more likely to ignore obvious, inconsistency where they feel they have been personally chosen for something special. And that is why scams can be so effective, even when on paper the whole thing sounds, absurd. Because on the paper, scams are kind of easy to see, but inside a manipulated conversation, they are much harder to feel clearly. As the center of every successful scam is emotion, not technology, not hacking, not even deception on its own. Emotions. Now, basically, the scam only works if it gets you to feel first and think second. That's kind of like a pattern. The investment scam actually triggers hope. The Tesla scam triggers excitement, while the fake product scams kind of triggers, curiosity. And across all of them, there's usually a layer of urgency. Act now. Now, basically, don't miss this. This one is kind of limited, while this one is exclusive, and this one is kind of private. This is kind of a rare opportunity. The language is not accidental. It's actually designed to bypass reflection, because the moment you slow down, the scam gets weaker. The moment you ask someone else, the scam gets weaker. The moment you independently verify a claim, the scam gets weaker. The moment you step away and think for like 10 seconds or say 10 minutes, the scam gets weaker. That's why scammers, hate delay. Delay gives reality time to come back into the room, and once reality is back, the fantasy kind of starts falling apart. Why would Elon Musk privately message random people? Why would a legitimate investment guarantee unbelievable returns? Why would any real price require gift cards? Why would a genuine company need secrecy, speed, and payment before delivery? Those questions don't just expose the scam, they break the emotional spell surrounded it is. One of the worst ways to think about scam is to imagine that only foolish people fall for them. That idea is not just wrong, it's kind of dangerous, because it makes people underestimate how these operations actually work. Scam are not intelligent tests. They are kind of like a manipulative system that are designed by people who understand timing, pressure, reward, and emotional leverage. They understand how to make something feel urgent. They understand how to sound official. They understand how to exploit trust before skepticism has time to, catch up. And many victims are not making, calm, detached decisions. They are making a decision while emotionally activated. To be very honest, that can happen to anyone. If you're really looking for financial security, a person caught up in an excitement of winning, someone who trusts a familiar face, someone moving too quickly on social media, someone isolated in a private conversation, and someone wanting to believe. The stereotype of obvious scam victim is comforting because it kind of creates a distance. It lets people think that would actually never happen to them. But confidence is not kind of immunity. In fact, one of the easiest people to manipulate is the person who believes they are too smart to be manipulated. That's what makes this story so important. They remind us that fraud doesn't always overpower logic. Sometimes he just get there first. And the deeper issue here is not really Elon Musk himself. He's just one of the most effective symbols available to scammers right now. The real issue is the online identity that has become very easy to imitate and incredibly hard for ordinary people to verify in real time. That changes everything. When a famous face can be copied, a familiar voice can be cloned, a polished art can be generated, and a believable conversation can be maintained across multiple platforms, the old sign of fraud kind of like becomes less reliable. And that means users are being pushed into a much harder online environment. For years, internet safety could be summarized with simple advices: don't click on weird links, don't trust of your spams, avoid badly made websites. But to be very honest, that advice still matters. But let's put in context, it's no longer enough. Now, the threat may look more refined, it may look branded, it might sound articulate, it may mimic a real personality, and it may appear inside the same feed as your friends, family, favorite creators, and trusted news sources. So the internet is changing from a place where scams were often ugly and loud to a place where scams are incredibly clean and quiet. And that one should kind of like concern everyone, because once believability becomes cheap to manufacture, trust itself becomes vulnerable at scale. And that is not just a user problem, it's a platform problem. So how many fake ads need to circulate before they're stopped? How many impersonation accounts need to operate before detection improves? How many victims need to lose money before platform treats synthetic fraud like in an emergency that it is? These questions are getting more urgent and not less. So what do you actually do with all of this? The first thing is simple. Now you need to slow down. That sounds obvious, but it may be the single most effective difference, because these scams are built around momentum. They want to move you, like before you think. So if a message, ad, or private chat creates a strong emotion, that is exactly when you should become more curious, not less. If someone claims you won a luxury car, stop. If someone says the celebrity is personally offering you an investment opportunity, stop. If a price requires payment first, stop. If someone asks for a gift card, stop immediately. And if the conversation moves quickly from a platform, to a private messaging app, be cautious. And if the whole thing feels exciting enough that you want it to be true, that's the moment you need to verify the hardest. And always verify independently, not through the phone number they give you, not through the website link they send, not through the accounts that contacted you. Go outside the scam environment, visit the real company's website directly, search trusted reporting, check official public statements, talk to someone you trust before sending that money or that gift card. And if something involves pressure, secrecy, or strange payment methods, assume this risk is high until proven otherwise. That outside perspective kind of matters, because scam gets stronger in isolation and weaker in daylight. Sometimes all it takes is one person saying, hold on, that makes no sense, and that can save someone from a very, very expensive mistake. What makes the Elon Musk scam story so compelling is that it reveals something much more larger than a few isolated fraud cases. It shows how the modern internet kind of works. Attention moves fast, emotion moves faster, and verification moves slowly. And the scammers know exactly how to live in that gap. That is where they operate, in the gap between familiarity and proof, between excitement and reflection, between what looks real and what actually is. It literally sees what appears to be a revolutionary investment and loses more than $300,000. The woman is told she has won a white Tesla and $250,000 only to be pressured into sending money through Apple gift card. Other victims buy supposedly innovative products pushed with Elon Musk's image only to end up with junk and no meaningful refund packed. Different stories, different tactics, same engine, borrowed trust, trigger emotion, and they just tend to create urgency to extract money from individuals or victim. And Elon Musk is just one example of a much wider reality, because if this can be done with one of the most recognizable people on earth, it can be done with almost anyone: a celebrity, a politician, a brand, a company executive, even someone you kind of know personally. And that's the real warning here. We are entering a version of the internet where seeing is no longer enough, where hearing is no longer enough, where familiarity is no longer enough. And in that environment, one of the most valuable skills a person can have is the ability to pause. not to rush, not to assume, to not let emotions make the decision first, because the most dangerous scam in the future may not be the ones that actually look suspicious. They may be the ones that look completely normal. So the next scam you might see online probably won't look like, the old scams. They may look polished, they may look professional, they may use a face you already trust, and it may even feel exciting. And that is exactly why it's dangerous. So all you need to do is slow down, question what you're seeing, verify everything and every single thing independently, and remember this: on the modern internet, the most convincing lie is often the one that is built to feel familiar. If you like this video, do well to support the channel, like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.